Okay, let's chant a little bit of Vajrasattva mantra because this is a Vajrayana teachings. Bhadra sadhu samaya manu banaya bhadra sadhu dhanam bhadra jidadira meva sudukhaya meva sudukhaya meva anuradha meva sawasiti mera sawakam sujam jidam shirim guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavad savatata bhadra mamma jabhadra bhama samaya sadhu bhadra sadhu samaya manu banaya sujam jidam shirim guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavad savatata bhadra sadhu samaya manu banaya bhadra sadhu jidam shirim Bhadra sadhu samaya manu bhadra bhadra sadhu jana bhadra sawakam sujam jidam shriyam guru hum ha 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 bhadra bhava mahasamaya sadhu bhadra sadhu samaya manu bhadra jidam shriyam guru hum ha 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 bhadra sadhu samaya manu bhadra bhadra sadhu Jidam shirim guru hum ha 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 bhadra sadhu samaya manu bhadra sujam jidam shirim guru hum ha 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 bhadra sadhu samaya manu bhadra bhadra sadhu jana sujam jidam shirim savatata gata bhadra bhava maha samaya sadhu Gambo animishimo but tamsilini kajin lamagun so do jizimba de jizimidani jido solo da kusun to tsawa thani na tamsilini but tholo shaso diba de dibani but to jimi so tamji janshin da but the so okay, let us begin with the right motivation to receive this teachings. First of all, so that we will attain enlightenment. And secondly, not only oneself, but through receiving this teaching and practicing this path, that one way or another become that this will lead us to enlighten all sentient beings. Even though this may sound very arbitrary and this may sound far-fetched, you must try to at least have the aspiration. Both the receiver of the teaching and the giver. And then, since this is the Vajrayana teaching, some sort of pure perception is important. Pure perception just to, I don't know, I feel like elaborating this a little bit. So, pure perception on time, pure perception of time, meaning really not to get bogged down by past and the rushing after the past experience, anticipating the future, because every time we dwell in the past and the future, we tend to lose the pure perception towards the time. So let us dwell in the present as much as we can. It can be very ordinary, just being conscious of the sound of the motor or the machine that is happening at this moment. The light, just whatever you are, but whatever it's now. And the pure perception of the place, that this is not just a ordinary house, but this is a special Vajrayana mandala, and especially because you are receiving the some sort of teachings based on Gesar, that this is the sort of a Vajra camp, like warriors camp. And generally every beings, especially the people who are listening to these teachings, and the most especially the listener yourself individually, instead of thinking that you are an ordinary, defiled, limited being, you have the innate, the warrior quality. And this is not just making up. This is very much aligned with the truth. The truth of the matter is that all defilement that you have, all habitual patterns you have, are not only removable, but they are constantly non-abiding. In other words, they are constantly fading and disappearing, even though due to the lack of practice and merit and skill, new thought, continuous new habitual pattern bogs us down. And fundamentally, the innate warrior is ever present. Therefore, you are entitled to think that you are this warrior adorned with all the qualities of the warrior. The teacher, in this case me, whether you like it or not, also should be seen as not as a not bound by gender, color, height, shape, but Dasamand Bhadra himself, or the Guru Rinpoche, Pema Sambhava himself, or also Manjushri. So with these motivation, please pay attention to the teachings. I don't know whether we can actually even claim that this is a teaching. Okay, so with this we have prepared ourselves, so to speak. Now, to further, how should I call it? Prepare ourselves. I'm going to talk about the concept or principle of protector first. Chuchong, Dharmapala, or the protector. And this is because, for whatever reason, somehow, and sometimes I feel it's a bit unfortunate, but somehow the Gesar is categorized into the department of Dharma protector. The little, like, underestimating the Gesar. But nevertheless, the principle of protector. Now, without a doubt, no need to mention. I'm assuming that all of you are quite, familiar with Vajrayana teachings. Otherwise, you will not be. Otherwise, you will not be understanding a lot of the things what I'm saying. But I'm assuming, I've been told that, or I'm assuming that you know at least a little bit. But and I will have to say, I'm sorry, I will have no time to explain the some of the basic fundamental stuff, because otherwise we will be doing that. And you are here to listen to the Gesar Guru Yoga or the Gesar practice. So I'll have to sort of come quite quickly to that practice. But as I was saying, I guess I don't have to mention that the whole purpose of the practice, whatever practice, Vajrayana, Sharvakayana, Mahayana, is for the to achieve the awakening state, the Buddhahood. That I hope I don't need to remind you. But that's important, So, the practice of protector, therefore, is very much also just another method to achieve the awakening state. And I'm underlying this, and I'm making this statement bold and underlined and very vivid, because many times, especially in places like Asia, because there's so much shamanistic influence and native custom and the habit of worshipping tree gods, mountain gods, water gods for good harvest, good business, to, free ourselves from ailment, bad dreams, so on and so forth. And many times you end up categorizing these great protectors among these, ordinary so-called deities or local guardians or protectors. So under no circumstance, we should do that. Especially, Gesar Obling had a lot of dispute. Gesar Obling practice is very much found in the Nyingma tradition. I guess one of the men who is responsible for this is Ju Mipham Rinpoche. Mipham was a very, very great scholar. Really, really a great scholar. I mean, he was a no-nonsense man. He was not a sycophant. He analyzed everything. He was critical to everything. If he exists here, all our modern so-called skeptic, objective academics, critical journalists, they will, I don't know, how they will face him. Their level of critical mind is nothing. It's like infant. It's like so pathetic kind of critical mind. Sometimes I feel that New York Times reporters should really get some training of how to be really critical under the, with a little bit of training from people like Mipham Rinpoche. Really great time, big time critic. And suddenly when he brought this, Gesar, it became, it's a bit like, in the West maybe, it's a bit like Nietzsche suddenly worshipping a tree. You understand what I'm saying? Nietzsche, right? Or like Kant worshipping a tree. And like, wow, that will become a talk of a town. Wow, Nietzsche is seen worshipping and bowing down towards a tree. Now that's a news. That's what happened in Tibet. It's a very, and there's so many wonderful accounts of Mipham Rinpoche, and he was also a astrologist, astrophysicist, a lot of things. For instance, one time, many times his attendant was sort of telling him that, because being his attendant, I guess, the attendant himself also became very critical. And they were having some sort of argument about the supernatural power or something, and how the attendant does not believe in that. And Mipham Rinpoche said, okay, let's go and fetch our daily water. I guess Mipham Rinpoche stayed long time in a place called Zongshe, Karmo Taktsang, which is at the moment, I mean, it's actually under the sort of caretaking, under the umbrella of Dzongsar Monastery. It still exists. It's there. And everybody can go. Actually, Mipham Rinpoche's place is still there. And anyway, Mipham Rinpoche said, okay, let's go and fetch water, our daily water. So they went to the river and asked the attendant, okay, now you hold a pebble with your left hand, and with the right hand hold a twig, and then just be ready to pierce a very, very thin twig, not even hard twig. Be ready to pierce the pebble. But do it only when I say now. So then, attendant did the whatever being instructed. And Mipham Rinpoche is drawing something on the sand in the river bank. There's some sand, counting sand, looking at the, sun, the light, the stars, and then erasing whatever he's calculated. Again, draw some sort of a numbers, lots of calculations. And then suddenly, Mipham Rinpoche said, okay, now! And then the attendant pierced the pebble, and it went through. And Mipham Rinpoche said, see, if I did it, you will say I have performed miracle power. But you are the one who did this. He said that everything, the whole world functions based on 5 elements. And the 5 elements are changing all the time. If you know how they change and where they are, everything is possible. Everything. You can bend things that you normally can't bend. You can straighten things that normally you cannot straighten. You just have to know where the elements are and how they are right this very moment. Just sharing you this story about Mipham Rinpoche. Anyway, Mipham Rinpoche really made the Gesar of Ling such a big deal. And then obviously, Mipham Rinpoche's disciples then on, made it such a big deal. One of them happened to be Jabji Tengku Chense Rinpoche. And this is why, and, people like Khenpo Jingme Phunso, they, the Gesar has become such a big deal. But Gesar has been disputed, especially among the new translation, like a Sakyapas, Gelupas, because there's also a folklore of Gesar, stories told about Gesar, some incredible stories, volumes after volumes. And this is kind of interesting. I don't know whether you know any of this. In Tibet, this exists still today. In places like India, Tibet, it is still a very, it still has some of the last residual of this strangeness. If you call it magic, strangeness, I don't know, tricks, whatever you want to call it is fine. There are still people in Tibet who are completely illiterate, who know nothing about Gesar, no knowledge, can't read at all. They can't even write their own name, they can't read. But suddenly they go into trance, and then they get possessed. I don't know, you can call it possess, go through trance, and they get possessed by a warrior or an attendant of a warrior during the Gesar's time, supposedly. And then suddenly, days and days of episodes, like a, Game of Thrones. This is a Tibetan. This is a Tibetan entertainment. I'm serious. This exists still now. People actually pay these guys, especially during like special days like New Year. Or, if there's a, a village kind of a party or a village gathering to have good time, they bring these people from another village, if there is such person. They pay this person, and then this person will, and then they will do some pujas, they will do some prayers, I don't know what. And I've seen this myself. These people will come, this person will come, and me, I've always sort of teased them, and I've always a little bit critical, I don't know. Anyway, you will bring them and they are totally ordinary. And then some sort of pujas, prayers. And these pujas, actually, I could do it. I could just do the normal Gesar of puja and light some incense and throw some alcohol here and there. And suddenly this guy will shake and then roll their eyes up. And then they will wake up from that state and then go to another state of a storytelling. And sometimes you have to even force them to drink water because they just can't stop talking. And their throats get dry. You have to force them to drink water, tea, alcohol, and then they keep on talking. So this, what I'm saying is, this kind of phenomena sometimes does not help the practice, the principle of Gesar. Because then there's all these critics, especially coming from the new translation. Oh, this, Bonpo, shamanistic, trance, but, Buddhism? How can it be? Tantra? No, there's a lot of criticism. It has happened a lot. Not just now. Probably now more than ever, but before also. One of the great Sakyapa master, Gönchen Khenpo Samten Lodre, he's the abbot of the Gönchen monastery. Gönchen is one of the main Sakyapa seat in Derge. He was Jamyang Chense Wangpo's disciple. Really, really. And Jamyang Chense Wangpo, he was also a Nyingma Tertön. So, but also he was a Sakyapa Lama. So many Sakyapa masters come and receive teachings from him. So their guru, Jamyang Chense Wangpo, making a big deal of Gesar of Ling, him always not so short, and not only that, he even once or twice he even said, "Oh, that big lie, that big liar." He actually said, "Yeah, that big liar, the Gesar." He even said that. But Gönchen Khenpo Samten Lodre was a very, very, very devout Guru Rinpoche. He was so devoted to Guru Rinpoche. And anyway, one time he was napping, and in his dream, he dreamt that he went to copper-colored mountain. And as he was going towards the copper-colored mountain, suddenly he saw a really, a very scared man running down. Really scared, like as he was being chased. He came across, and then Samten Lodre was puzzled, and then he kept on walking, and then came another guy, this time very young, handsome, very, beautiful looking man, who looks like he was chasing the first one. And this man, sure enough, this second man asked Khenpo Samten Lodre, "Did you see somebody just now?" And normally, Khenpo Samten Lodro, a very compassionate monk, would tell a lie. You can tell that the first one is running for life. The second is, like chasing him. Normally he would tell a lie. But for some reason, something made him think he should not lie this time. He said, yeah, I saw. And then the second man said, okay. And he ran, to chase him. After that, Gönchen Khenpo Samten Lodro kept on walking up. And then Guru Rinpoche, all the Vidyadharas, in his vision, he saw all these guys had good time. And then he was coming back. He was going back. And as he was going back, he saw this young man doing his shoelace. He was tidying up his shoes. And then he can't help but he had to ask this young man, because the young man looks really, really special. So he asked, young man, who are you? And the young man said, well, I'm the big liar. So after that, Gönchen Khenpo Samten Lodro became one of the biggest sort of promoter of the Gesar of Ling. Through that, there's also many Sakepa masters who also really practice this. As recent as just in my time, there's one Khenpo, Sakepa Khenpo Tsenam, who lived in Lhasa for a long time, and he had a lot of stories to tell during the Cultural Revolution when Khenpo Tsenam was really, really like having hard time, nothing to eat. And all he did was he did prayers to Gesar, and out of nowhere there will be like lamb, like a leg of a lamb suddenly, found in the, grassland and so on and so forth. I'm going astray now. I'm going here, there. Now, Gesar. Yeah. So our concern is to be awakened, not to get a lamb chop. You know that. This is important, We need to be awakened. So, in order to be awakened, actually, all you need to know is uncontrive, not fabricate. Be aware and uncontrive. That's all you need. This is actually taught even in the Mahayana, of course in the Vajrayana. That's all you need. You need to learn to not contrive, not fabricate, not alter, and be cognizant all the time. This is the same thing. That's all you need. But the problem is how to uncontrive, how to not contrive, how to not fabricate and alter. That's a difficult one, because we have the habit of the opposite. So this is why varieties of path happened. 84,000 of them, much more actually. Varieties. And partly also, we like varieties. We like varieties, and also we like, we have to have reference. Reference is important. We need some sort of a railing to hold. If somebody says, okay, not contrive, we don't know how to begin with this. How to begin? How do we not contrive? So some sort of a reference. This is how you do not contrive. So that's why Sharvakayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, all the path is taught. And they are very specially designed railings and hooks and references. And I say it specially designed because all those railings and the hooks and the posts and the benches, all those are designed to, how should I call it? Designed to take you closer to the uncontrived, non-contrived state, but also all of these are designed as how should I put it? They're designed to disintegrate. That's right, disintegrate. All these paths are designed to disintegrate. Okay, so the varieties. Now, actually, if you have the superior faculties, if you have the proper faculties of all this reference, among all this reference, all you need is the Guru. That would be enough. But because we just can't, we just don't have this daringness and the courage to think that the Guru is enough, then we have other references such as Deva and the Dakini. And the protector, Dharmapala, falls in the department of the Dakini. When we talk about Guru, Deva and Dakini, protector falls in the Dakini section. But if you want to elaborate this, let me try this one. This very moment mind, which cannot be described, which is beyond, which has no distinctions such as color, shape, which cannot be pinpointed saying that this is it. That, and while it is while it cannot be described, while it cannot be pinpointed as something existent, at the same time the flow of cognizance is, how should I say, spontaneous and never stopping. There's a flow of cognizance all the time. This too, even though they're not really two, but for the sake of communication between people like you and me, we divide them into two so that we can understand. These two are basically Guru and the Deva. Beyond that, Guru is not bound by, a physical human being. But again, even that, even though this innate Guru, this Guru is all the time there, all the time functioning, teaching, presence of this Guru is all the time with you. Whether you have been taught this or not doesn't matter. It has always been, and all these people outside, even though they may have never heard this, that Guru and Deva is always with them, always. But like a kilo of diamond in the hands of a child, beggar child, until it is known as a diamond, useless. So somebody has to tell this child, look, what you have is very precious. You can buy a lot of things. It's called diamond. The child might still be in doubt. This shining thing, this can get me things. Doubt can still continue. But if the child doesn't have a doubt, if the child accepts that this is a diamond really, really precious, the job is finished. From then on, this thing that he has been holding for all this time has become a diamond. It's not like become diamond, it's always been a diamond. But the usage of diamond is finally, the purpose of the diamond or the usage or the diamond has become a diamond at last, properly, basically. Likewise, innate Guru, even though it is all the time there, innate Deva, until it is introduced by someone who already knows about this, not just intellectually but practically, and he or she pointing out, this is it. And then through his or her pointing out, have some sort of a glimpse of, this is it. This is the Dharmakaya, this is the Sambhogakaya, this is Guru, this is Deva. Then you should have some sort of a confidence that your defilements, no matter how strong you have, no matter how much habit you have, somewhere in the midst of all this dirt, you have this confidence. This is what Paltu Rinpoche said, Minchang lode alala. Even though you may not attain awakening state right away, you have already, the moment you have recognized this, the moment you have the confidence of this, then actually you can sort of relax. There is a reason to be relaxed. Lode is like basically relax. You are not too paranoid. There is a hope, much more than hope actually. It's like, this is an example that I've been always using. When you wash the cup, a dirty cup, you have a confidence. You are relaxed. Even as you go to the washing basin, you are relaxed that the defilement will go. the stain will go. Because you know it is not its innate nature. But this, for most of us, like you and I, it need to be reminded again and again, isn't it? We need to be reminded. We need to always remind that this is what we have, this is what we have. We need to be reminded. This reminding ourselves is the essence of protector. Can you get this? This is important that you know. Protector is nothing to do with like fangs and the horns and the tail and the mouth in the stomach, in the sense of Rahula, and then the lady with a one fang, all of this. Yeah, of course. You know why there's all that? Because you love varieties. And it's okay. You can have all these varieties. But the principle of the protector is this. So for you guys, and me including, do you feel guilty? Like, oh, I'm wasting so much time. I have to practice. Why did I not practice? Again, I'm distracted. Do you feel that sometimes? Fantastic. This is the protector manifesting. This is it. Really. This is the essence of the practice. You should really. That's all you need to do. All you need is this guilt of not practicing. You should have this guilt all the time. 24 hours if possible. You should die. If you die with this guilt of not being able to practice, you died purposefully. You died with a meaning. You had a meaningful life. This is the principle of the protector. Chechong. Before I tell you the Gesar of Ling, I want you to know that. It's sotsam. It's called sotsam. If you want to know the, what do you call it? The Tibetan word, Chechong, or the Dharmapala, the protector, the principle, the essence of the protector is a sotsam. So is the word. It's a one. The full word of so is sopa. Sopa means spying. So, binoculars, ears dropping, what do you call it? You understand? Looking, like camouflage. You understand? Camouflaging, dyeing hair. I don't know what, like blending in the people and the looking. You understand? So, that's so. Some is also, like immigration boundary. From here, my territory. From there, your territory. So sotsam, together with this, is the principle of protector. When we are feeling guilty, it shows that there is a little bit of this. You understand? There's a little bit of, like going after, in disguise, incognito, with a hat, like tilted down, like you are, what do you call it? You are prey? No, what do you call it? You are object to whom you are spying on. If he stops, you stop. Pretend to look at the newspaper. You understand all of that? That is something that you are about to do. This is why you are feeling guilty. Of course, most of us, Most of us, moment we saw our enemy, the moment we chase, you know, the moment we chase, we go like this. Like we have lost him. Most of us, isn't it? Most of us. But, in the Vajrayana, there's a good news. There's a plenty. Everyone is something that you can chase with. It's not like there's like really one enemy going around. Everyone, you should be, spying. And then the immigration is between past and the future. You need visas to go, into this present Dharmakaya state. You don't let anyone come in to this. In other words, you do not go astray. You do not go to the past and you do not go to the future. This sotam is the principle of the protector, chochong. So I need you to know that first. So let's take a toilet break. I need to do. Okay, I have this morning spent time talking about protector based on the view, which is very, very, very important. You need to hear this. It's not important to always remember this, when you are practicing. But, it's not like you have to recite everything what I've said as part of your practice. But this is something that you need to know. If I tell you that this is a biscuit, you need to know that this is a biscuit. Well, you don't have to, when you do other things, you don't have to say, that's a biscuit, that's a biscuit, that's a biscuit. You don't have to, you don't need. But then when you come back here, or time to time, we may forget it's a biscuit because, we are so distracted to here and there. Time to time it's good to hear. That's a biscuit. That's why you need to always, time to time, you need to have this kind of a reminder. Now, we will assume that we have finished with for the time being, we will assume that we have talked enough with the view. So now we talk about practice. But to practice, okay. When we talk about a practice, we are talking about path, obviously. So when we talk about a path, we are talking about a path dweller. Otherwise, what's the path? Path is a path. Trail, right? Trail is a trail because it has been used and there's a user. Trail? Path. If there's a user of the path, then path is necessary and there is a path. And this path dweller, or the one who is walking on the path, has to have a goal, has to reach somewhere. Otherwise, what's the point of path? Path has to have a goal, and the person who is walking on the path And if he is a genuine path dweller, a really serious one, then the path dweller, of course, means path dweller is not perfect. That's why he is still on the path. Yeah. I need to tell you this sort of step by step. There's a necessity why I need to tell you this. Okay? So the path dweller is not perfect. His or her prana is not perfect. His or her bindu is not perfect. And his or her nadi is not perfect. That's why he is dwelling on the path. And we are going to concentrate more on the prana now. And the reason why I'm going on like this, kind of a long-winded way, is because Gesar is related to Lungta. So the Dala, okay, this is, okay, one thing. A very, very accomplished communist scholar in China said, it's just incredible. I thought he was so amazing, right? What do you call it? Hit the nail, is it? Hit the nail, I thought. He said that this Guru Rinpoche, Guru Padmasambhava, is a very, very smart man. He used the Tibetan local habit and used them and, I don't know, transform the nuances, the local nuances, the local culture, local habit into the Buddhist path. This is why the Guru Rinpoche's path is quite, everywhere, popular, and really, it's everywhere, basically. The terms like lungta, la,